Okay, Shannon, you can put us on.
Okay.
All right, we're back on for the continuation of the Lopez v. Lopez trial. Looks like everyone's present. I have no memory of where we left off, so.
Judge, we left off. Mr. Navarro had rested his case in chief, and he didn't have any more witnesses to testify. I believe at this point we're ready for Mr. Lopez to testify. Is that correct, Mr. Navarro?
That's my recollection, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your full name for the record. You can put your hand down.
Thomas Emilio Lopez.
Go ahead, Mr. Huggaboom.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'm going to ask you to listen to the question and answer only the question I've asked you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you recall at our last hearing, the court granted you some parent time. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. You were supposed to have it every Wednesday overnight and every other weekend parenting time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you receive all that parenting time?
No.
Okay. And did you attempt to talk to Anita through text or phone messages?
Yes.
And how did that work out?
We didn't get anywhere.
Okay. What do you mean by we didn't get anywhere? Does that mean the text and phone calls weren't answered or exchanged?
Wasn't getting answered.
Okay. Let's talk about the first Wednesday night you had for a visit. What happened there?
The first Wednesday, I got the girls. I actually had them that weekend. I had them Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I got them the following Wednesday, and I had them that night. I was at the house, I want to say at 4:00. We didn't establish a time for me to be there, so I wanted to be there as early as I could. Anita didn't want to leave the girls with my mom, and that turned into a fiasco because Anita didn't want to leave the kids if I wasn't going to be there.
Okay. Did you eventually get the girls?
Yes.
And how were the visit parenting times with your girls? Did everything go well?
Very good.
What did
Very
you-
nice.
What did you guys do?
We spent time with family, went to dinner, hung out around the house. On the weekend, they were very happy to spend some time with their friends in the neighborhood. So they got to do that. Honestly, we just had fun. We just spent time together the whole time.
And then along came Easter week and spring break for the kids. What happened there?
I was expecting the girls on Wednesday. They were not delivered. Anita told me that out of courtesy, she was letting me know that I was not going to get them and that it was her weekend because she gets them for spring break, and all of this is the day of. And I had made arrangements at work. Went in early, got everything done to be there waiting at 3:00 because I did not want to issue like the previous week.
Okay. And how did that affect you?
It's pretty awful because right now, I mean, a Wednesday and every other weekend is pretty awful. But to get to that Wednesday, it's a day, and to get excited and then just to have it not there is terrible.
Then after spring break, Easter week, was there another Wednesday that the children were not delivered to you?
Correct.
What happened there?
No response from Anita. They were not delivered.
Now, you mentioned earlier, a few minutes ago, that you had your mother waiting to take the kids. Is that correct?
I'm sorry.
Did you say that you had your mother, you arranged to have your mother be at home when the kids were delivered?
She was there just in case I got held up traffic or anything like that. Yes.
Okay. So is that a plan for you to use your mother to help fill the gaps between when you can't be there and delivery?
Absolutely.
Okay. Since the children have been removed from your home, have you been able to monitor their education?
I can only see what's going on with the power school and just kind of keeps me updated on the grades.
What
I
is
don't know how. I'm
what is
sorry.
Power School?
One more time.
What is Power School?
It is a website, an app that allows you to track and monitor attendance, grades, assignments, everything.
And when you looked at that, what was the attendance record of the kids?
The attendance has gone down significantly. I need to stop taking them to the school. So attendance has been terrible. I don't know how updated or correct the grades are, but Trinity has taken a huge decline in her schooling.
Are the kids passing?
Trinity, I mean, from what I can see from the quarter, is sitting at like a 1.2 or a 1.3 grade point average.
What was she before, if you know?
Straight A student. I mean, maybe a B or two, but I'd say probably a strong 3.5 at least.
Okay. And during this time, have you had any telephone conversations with the kids or text messaging?
No,
Do the kids have their own phone?
Trinity does, but not the others.
Okay. So if you want to talk to your children throughout the week, you have to go through Anita then?
Yes.
Have you tried to do that?
I tried to set up a time with her. I tried to ask her what would be convenient for her. I would like to be able to talk to them, say goodnight, ask them how they're doing, and that was denied.
Was there a reason?
We'd have to ask her. I don't know.
In other words, it's just no communication. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back to the beginning of this case and let's talk about the family bills. Okay.
Okay.
Now, before this case was filed, tell the court a little bit about how the household bills were paid.
Anita took care of the finances as far as making all the payments. I just tried to keep the account with money.
Okay. Now, did you use auto pay for any bills or did you pay by check?
There were a few items that were auto pay. A lot of them were set up payment wise online through the accounts.
What was paid through auto pay?
Going through and looking at it, I would say there were like a Shar Music. There were, I can't remember if Consumers was an auto pay.
Did you have the mortgage paid auto pay?
No,
Okay. So for the mortgage, you wrote a check each month?
not wrote a check, but just transferred the money from the checking or saving to the mortgage payment.
So you do it like online then? Go online?
Yeah.
So to the best of your knowledge, in the last year, were the house payments kept current?
Yes,
What about the utility bills?
yes.
So it was your job to deposit money into the bank account, correct?
Yes.
You have to say yes or no. We're recording.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. And what bank was that?
CP Federal Credit Union.
Now, in March, let's talk about this. In 2020, before you lost your job, how much money were you earning annually?
I think my salary was 105,000.
And so, did you have money left over at the end of each month?
No,
And so you have to be careful of your spending?
Yes.
Okay. In March 29th of 2020, was there a large withdrawal made?
Yes.
You know how much the money was for?
I believe that was 4,700 that was taken out.
Okay. I'm going to show the court a document, and give me just a second, Judge. I'll get that on the screen, okay?
Okay.
I got to remember how I did this last time. Share screen. There I go. Oh, let me go this way.
How's the weather today in Munising?
Judge, we had a little bit of snow today. Nothing amounts to anything. We've had good and bad weather, so it's that springtime up and down stuff. There we go. Okay, this should come up. Now, let me go to share screen. Do you see anything on my screen? On your screen?
No.
Okay. What's this? Okay. Basic window. I don't know why it's not coming up. There is that.
It's there.
Here we go.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, do you recognize what this sheet is?
Yes.
What is that?
So this is a breakdown of the account, and this is where the funds on the very bottom, you have 4,700 was withdrawn, and then
Okay.
4,700.
Mr. Lopez, we
Yeah.
say this is a sheet from what bank or what institution would this be from?
This is from CP Federal.
Okay. Is this something you made or the bank makes?
You can download this from the website.
Okay. And so it says account numbers on the left. That would be for your marital account?
That's for the joint account, yes.
Okay. And then we have dates, amounts, balance, categories, descriptions, and memo. You see all that?
Yes,
Now this right here, is this relatively the same as you download from the credit union site?
yes.
Okay. I'd move for admission. This is defense exhibit. I don't think we have any numbers, Judge.
Why don't you use letters for defense exhibits?
Okay, we call this A then?
That works.
Okay.
Any objection, Mr. Navarre?
I may voir dire.
You may, go ahead.
Mr. Lopez, the proposed exhibit, which your attorney has up on a shared screen, is that something that you created, or is it something that was
This
identical
is-
to what reflected the transactions in the account?
This is the transactions in the account from the CP Federal website. You can
Okay.
select on the account to download a CSV, I believe it is, file, and it creates an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, and then on that Excel spreadsheet, you have an opportunity to manipulate that. Isn't that correct?
You could, yes.
Did you manipulate what you downloaded and put onto an Excel spreadsheet?
No,
So each and every transaction that is reflected on this spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, is a true and accurate reflection of what occurred. Is that correct?
yes,
And there isn't anything that's added or subtracted or altered in any way. Is that your testimony?
that's my testimony, yes.
I have no objections to the admission of Defendant's Exhibit A.
Defendants A is admitted.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, you testified that you didn't have much money left over each month. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so if we look at the dates, we go down to 3/29/2020. There is a $4,700 in parentheses. Do you see that?
Yep.
And then we look up to the right, it says withdrawal made to Lopez Anita. What can you tell us, the court, about that particular withdrawal?
So the withdrawal was made from Anita to her personal account.
Do you know why?
And no,
Is this something that you and Anita had discussed doing?
no.
Okay. And so then we go up to 3/30, one line, 2020. It shows a $4,700 deposit, followed by the same day a withdrawal, and the same day a redeposit, and then the next day it was taken out again. So that it appears that money was pulled out, put back in, pull out, put back in. Do you know why that was?
I can't tell you, no.
Okay. And then if we go up to May 9th, 2020, there's another large withdrawal for $8,700. And again, that says to Anita Lopez. Tell us about that withdrawal.
This was the bonus that I received from Brembo. Money was withdrawn and put into her account.
Okay. Now, again, did Anita talk to you about taking that money out?
No,
You didn't take that money out, correct?
no.
Okay. And so when you said that actually, let's go back. Let's look at the balance. So after that $8,700 withdrawal, the balance of the account was $67.84. Would that be accurate?
Yes,
And so is this the same account that you paid your household bills out of?
everything came out of this.
Okay. So then you say everything. Do you have a debit card?
Yes,
And now as we go up,
Let me stop, Mr. Agaboom, let me interrupt for a minute. I'm having trouble understanding that this is a complete list of transactions because I don't see a deposit of $8,700 anywhere. It looks like the last entry before that $8,700 with $100 withdrawal shows that the balance remaining in the account is $150. Obviously, something had to happen between April 9th and May 9th. You can't withdraw $8,700 unless it was deposited. So if you could explore, I'm having trouble following this exhibit.
It will do that, Judge. So, Mr. as the judge just pointed out, this doesn't show deposits in here. Can you tell us why this deposits aren't in this particular sheet?
I don't know if it was just all of the withdrawals. I honestly can't remember.
Okay. So when you go online and print this, do you choose what categories you want to print, or does it just give you one option to print?
You can look at just certain transactions. You can search for withdrawals. You could do whatever you wanted with it.
Okay. So it would be fair to say if money was taken out, there was probably money put in before, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now that makes me wonder, if that's not on there, is there any other information that's going to be missing here that we need to worry about?
From the deposits and the withdrawals on this looks like this is probably the savings. This doesn't include all of the checking transactions that were going on.
So is it fair to say this is not a complete record?
It's not a complete record, no. This is pages on top of pages.
But is it fair to say that this accurately reflects the actual balance of the account?
Yes.
Okay. And so as we go up to 7/15, or actually 7/9 of 2020, the balance is zero. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So what does that mean to the household budget if there's no money in the bank?
That means everything is sitting.
Okay. Now, when you went to work, your car needed gasoline, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how do you pay for gasoline for your car?
The debit card.
Did you ever have any trouble with your debit card?
That's when I realized the first time that money had been withdrawn from the account because my card got declined
Where did it get declined at?
while I was trying to get gas.
And so you couldn't get gas for your car?
I had, I think, $20 on me, so I put $20 worth of gas in the car.
Do you recall when this was? What time frame was that your debit card was declined?
It had to have been around the 4,700 withdrawal because it was when the account dropped down to next to nothing.
Okay. And did you go and talk to Anita about what was going on?
I asked her to put the money back in the account.
And what was her response?
She said no, she wasn't putting it back, and that was.
Okay. So do you know if your bills got paid? Since Anita took care of the bills and there's no money account, do you know how the bills were being paid?
It was tight for a while.
Would it have been helpful if Anita would present you with a budget?
It would have been nice to have had a plan.
Did she ever suggest a plan?
No,
So is it fair to say that you just have to react to the finances then?
yes,
After this happened, did you take any steps to try and protect the money?
yes. I started having the money, instead of it going to the joint account, I started having my direct deposit go to my personal account so that I could start taking care of the bills.
And what bills did you take care of?
I took care of all the bills for the house.
Does that include credit cards,
Yes, sir.
groceries?
Yes.
Auto repairs?
I didn't catch that.
Auto repairs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did that keep the account so you had money in it?
The joint account stayed pretty much empty from here on out.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the marital home. Currently, you're residing in the marital home, correct?
Yes,
And at some point, did a realtor come look at the home with you and Anita?
yes.
And what did the realtor tell you?
The realtor did not want to list the house because it was too much of a mess.
Did the realtor say anything about price?
She said that there was like another, I can't remember, she said 15 or 25,000 sitting on the table if the house would have been cleaned.
So what did you and Anita do after the realtor told you that?
Honestly, it felt like nothing really changed.
Did
There was
you,
no real effort to get the house ready.
did you attempt to do anything on your own?
I've tried to do some cleaning. I mean, the house looks worlds better right now. I've tried to do some quick fixes around the house that I'm capable of doing. Just doing whatever I can right now with the time.
Did you try and discuss with Anita to make a plan how you would address the issue?
No,
You guys never had a conversation?
no.
Okay. Now, we've seen videos of the home. The home is quite messy. Whose items are in the home that we saw in the videos?
Everyone's.
Okay. What do we do with all that stuff that's around? How do we clean the home?
So, I mean, I've just been looking at the house kind of room by room, and I've just been going through and just trying to put everything away and clean up.
Okay. Are you saying there's enough closet space to put things away?
Absolutely.
Okay. What type of repairs does the house need?
I replaced a door. I replaced all of the exterior lights. I am going to see if I can get the carpets stretched in a couple of the rooms. The floors in the kitchen could use a restaining. I'm going to see if that price is reasonable, if it's something I can do.
So do you want to sell a home?
Yes.
Do you want to have it, do you want to gain the extra $20,000 first, if you can?
I would do whichever is best, but right now I'm doing everything I can right now to try to up the value.
How do you propose we get the house ready for sale this time? And in what time frame would you be looking for?
One of the bathrooms has water damage to the subfloor. So this is something that's beyond me. I'm probably gonna have to hire somebody to do this. And I assume that'll be a week or two to do that project.
Okay. So can you give the court a time frame, how much time you need to prep the home for sale?
If we got permission, I would be, it's the 16th. I could be ready to post it the end of the month if you wanted to.
About 2 weeks then?
Yeah.
Okay. Since the last court date, do you know if Anita's been in the home at all?
Yes, she has.
Do you know why?
To collect some items.
How many times has she been in the home?
Probably 2 that I know of.
And do you know what type of items she's taken?
I know there was electronics for the girls, cables, clothing, everything in our arm wire in the bedroom was cleaned out.
When you say what's in the armoire, what was in the armoire?
Just a lot of miscellaneous items, but everything inside of it was wiped out. Honestly, I have no idea what all she took.
Would any of that stuff have interest to you in keeping?
Like just recently what she's taken, I would have to look at it. I think the biggest thing is just anything of value, so that we're splitting it. But I think the biggest thing of interest to me is the home PC that she took, because it's got all of our photos and everything on it.
As far as you know, can tell then, what she's taken mostly then are personal effects?
I would say so.
Okay. Did she remove a car from the home recently?
Yes.
What type of car was it?
2005 Toyota Sequoia.
Did the car run?
Yes.
Was it an extra car or was it her car?
It was her old car.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you know the value of that car?
If you look it up online, if you're trying to buy it at a dealer, it's about $8,000.
Subject to that being hearsay.
It's just a guess. It's just yes, Judge. It's not.
I'll accept it for what it's worth. Obviously, subject to better proofs as to. I certainly can rely on online blue book values and such for what they're worth, but
Kelly Blue Book, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Did Anita ever call you up and say, Tommy, I want to come to the house and get some things?
No.
Okay. Have you sold, removed, destroyed any marital property since she's been gone?
No.
Are you waiting for the court to tell you what you can do?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to retirement accounts. You've had several employers, correct?
Yes.
Did any of them offer you any type of retirement account?
They all did.
And did you roll some over to your last job, or what happened to the old accounts?
So just to go through all of it quickly, the Alro account was closed completely. Nucor was rolled into Timken Steel. Timken Steel was rolled into Brembo. And that is the only 401k account that I have.
Okay. You don't have any pensions or anything like that?
No,
Okay. Do you know what the name of that account would be then?
it's a Fidelity account.
And do you know about what the balance is?
It's about 165,000.
Does it have any loans taken out against it?
Yes, it does. It's got about a $10,000 loan remaining on it right now.
Okay. And you understand that this money is marital, and half of it, roughly half of it belongs to Anita throughout the divorce?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
Now, you've mentioned several times this today about a job. When we were in court last time, you didn't have a job, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So you're working now. Where
Yes.
are you employed?
Premier Thermal.
Where's that?
It's in Lansing.
What do you do there?
I'm the production manager.
And how many hours are you working?
I'm working about, I would say 50 hours a week.
What hours do you work?
Usually get in here around 6:30 in the morning, and I can leave 3:30, 4 o'clock comfortably.
Are you salary?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any flexibility in your hours?
Yes, I do. It was a major focus when I was looking for this job.
You say that, what do you mean, major focus?
I wanted to be available for the girls. So that was a big push for the position. That was a big part of my interview and everything.
So your boss knows that you may be taking time off to pick up your girls?
Yes.
And you have permission to do that?
Yes.
If you had to take the girls into school, would that interfere with your work?
It would depend on what was needed. I would think that I could either take them in or pick them up. If there was a day where I needed to do both, I could make it work. But to be honest with you, this is where I would rely on, support from a family. My mother being able to pick them up and maybe drop them off in the morning so that I could get back early to pick them up from school.
Okay, you just answered my next question. So now that we have a new job, how much are you earning now?
My salary is $80,000.
That's annually?
Yes, sir.
Any bonuses or commissions?
A potential bonus at the end of the year.
You won't know until December 31st or after?
Yeah, I won't know.
Okay. How often are you paid?
Bi-weekly.
Does that mean twice a month
No, it's actual bi-weekly.
or twice a week you paid?
Every other, yep.
Okay.
Every other week.
Yep, every other week I get paid.
Okay. That's twice a month. All right. And during this last, have you received any stimulus checks?
Yes.
How much did you
I
receive?
see that again.
Oh,
Ask that question again. I missed it.
that's fine. I asked if during this pandemic, if the family or Mr. Lopez has received any stimulus checks.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Is that yes, Mr. Lopez?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how much you received?
Off the top of my head, I think it was like 8,300.
And where's that money now?
The money was used to get caught up. Finally, that was the relief to get all the bills really paid.
You say bills paid. Is that from what? What would cause them to be behind?
When the money was taken out, I was basically making minimum payments on everything just to try to keep everything afloat. With the money deposited for that, I was able to really pay off debt.
Okay. So when you became unemployed, did you get behind bill because you were unemployed also?
It didn't really affect because I was receiving a severance.
Okay. And how much was that severance package?
I believe total was around 20,000.
What happened to that money?
It was used as regular pay. I was paid like I was still working for Brembo.
So you just use that for you to keep up the bills each month?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to share with the court the document. And let me see if I can do this again. Share screen, there we go. Okay, sure. Okay, Mr. Lopez, do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what is this we're looking at?
You asked me just to prepare the budget, the bills, anything that was paid from January to now.
Okay. And Mr. Navarro, you should have a copy of this. I sent one to you a little while ago. But either way, we can admit it as an exhibit. Now, when we look at this, Mr. Lopez, is what we're looking at now the same that you made for me?
Yes.
And do you see any differences in here since you made this?
No.
Okay. I'd ask that this be admitted as Defense Exhibit B.
Objections, Mr. Navarre?
I'm not really understanding what it is. Start, income.
This is going to be the bills that Mr. Lopez has been paying. It shows that it traces the money that he's been spending for the family.
I think you need to lay a better foundation because I don't understand it either.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, we talked earlier about if needed would provide you with a budget. Is this sheet we're looking at, is this the budget for the house, your income?
That's what it is. In January for the start, that was what was in the account at the start of January. The income was miscellaneous. It was, I think they call it like a mortgage rebate that we get from CP Federal.
Okay. And so what you're saying then is that when you say pay minus insurance, that's the income you received in January, February, March?
Correct.
And then we have stimulus below that. You said you received stimulus payments, and this is what the government would have sent to you?
Correct.
Below that, you have total for each month of what your income was.
Correct.
Then below that, you have home, mortgage insurance, and utilities. Are those the expenses you would have paid from your income?
Yes.
Okay. And so is this fair to say this is the household budget for the last 3 months?
Yes.
Okay. I'd move for Defense Exhibit B to be admitted.
I don't think that there's enough foundation here, and I object to it. It appears that if you go up to the top of that, it looks like he talks in January. I mean, he's making $106,000 or $105,000 a year on salary, and for the month of January, it shows that his only pay is $5,433. For February, it shows $9,080, and for March, it shows $5,979. He's on salary. He's getting paid consistently bi-weekly with his previous testimony. I don't see how this can accurately reflect what reality is and what he was being paid, and then what he was then utilizing for purposes of household expenses.
So let me ask, Mr. Lopez.
Yep.
So the purpose of this spreadsheet, you prepared the spreadsheet?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I understand start. That was what in the account as of January 1st.
Yes.
All right. And then you explained what the income line was. And then you've reported all of the expenses for each month under each category.
Correct.
Yes,
sir.
All right. Can you explain why there's a discrepancy? Could you scroll back up to the income, please, Mr. Huggaboom?
Yes.
Can you explain, stimulus I understand, but how do you explain the discrepancy in your income? Shouldn't that be pretty steady?
With the income, with the pay, the one thing that was a variable there is with the severance, part of the severance was that my insurance was covered. So I did see a fluctuation in the pay. And then in February, there was a big payment that was made. It included all of the, I guess, vacation that I hadn't used for the year. And I hadn't taken any time. So I got paid out basically 2 paychecks together.
All right. So in any event, when you list pay minus insurance, that's what you actually received for each of those months.
Yes, sir.
In your severance payments from Brembo?
Yes, this was take home. Take home
pay. Okay. I'm
Yes.
satisfied that there's been an adequate foundation. I'm going to admit this is what? B?
Yes.
Exhibit B is admitted.
All right.
Judge, for the record, I would just like to note my objection. This is not the best evidence. If he really wanted to accurately show what truly went on, he'd have the bank statements, the deposits, and the disbursements.
As well as your client.
Your objection's noted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Lopez, the judge got ahead of me, but I want to go through each line by line as we look at this. And so when you said to start at 561, that was the money in the account. Which account are we talking about?
This is the separate account. This is my account.
Okay, where's that at?
CP Federal.
All right. And so you say the pay, that's your net take home pay after taxes, insurance, and all deductions have been taken out, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And they vary each month because in say February, when did you lose your job with Brembo?
January 30th, I believe it was.
Okay. And so when you lost your job with Brembo, they gave you a severance package, correct?
Correct.
What were the terms of that package?
The terms of the package were 6 months, I believe, of insurance covered. Basically a continuation of my pay for several months and payout of any vacation that I had unused.
Okay. And so it's fair to say in February then that that's higher because of the Brembo severance package.
Yes.
And in March, where does that $5,979 come from?
The $5,979 was the Brembo payout for the months. So that's just my salary.
Okay. And so then the stimulus checks, you get one in January. Why is it $3,550? Do you know?
I don't know why the difference in the amounts.
Now, it came as a check from the U.S. government, correct?
Yes.
And whose name was on that check?
I honestly, it was deposited. It was a direct deposit. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. And so for the second check of $8,300, was that direct deposit as well?
Correct.
And you say direct deposited, what account would that have been deposited into?
Both of these were deposited into the joint account.
Okay. And so that was available to Anita at any time, correct?
It was in the account. I withdrew it and put it into the account for me so we could get all the bills paid.
Okay. Now, was this a reaction then from when the money was taken out of the credit union joint account? And this is your way to ensure you had enough money to pay the bills?
Correct.
Okay. Now, mortgage, insurance, and taxes, $1,230. That's your monthly payment every month in the home?
Correct.
Okay. And then you have utilities, electric and gas. Who are those through?
Consumers Energy.
Okay. Now, I'm a little concerned about the March bill being so much higher than the February and January bill. Why is that?
I went through that probably 2 or 3 times. There were 2 separate bills that were withdrawn from the account. I tried to transfer it into my name. I think I had to pay off whatever was left on the other account and then start it in my name. I don't know if it was a transfer of account fee. I couldn't tell you that.
Okay. And then we go down, looks like you have credit cards next. Was that what Best Buy, Home Depot, and Macy's is?
Correct.
Those are some rather large payments there. Can you explain the January payment?
So they were, as soon as the money was there and available, I was trying to pay down that debt because this is what we would have done with the money that was withdrawn from the account earlier, would pay this debt off.
Are you saying that was your normal plan, marital plan, is to pay debt off whenever you could?
Yeah.
Now, when we look at those, I know they're not very specific. Do you know what the debt was for?
A lot of this is going to be Christmas spending. Home Depot would be anything around the house. Macy's, girls, me, Anita, clothing.
Are these joint credit cards then?
No, not anymore.
Well, okay, when you say not anymore, were they joint credit cards at one time?
Yes.
And when did they become not joint?
Home Depot and Macy's, when I started making the payments, I shut off the approved user. I can't remember the term they gave me or used for it.
Okay. And so when you did that, looks like February, you only paid $653. Why is that?
Paid off what I could with it. I was trying to just see what I had left. And then in March, I just paid it off.
Okay. So the balance were all the credit cards paid off at that point?
Yes.
Was that yes?
Yes.
So the $583 for April, that's this month's charges?
Yep.
Do you know who made those charges?
Yeah, I did for Home Depot, buying things to work on the house.
Okay. And then we'll go down to auto. We have Toyota, so nothing there. Whose car is that?
That's Anita's.
Okay, that doesn't have a balance on it?
There's a balance of roughly, I want to say 9,000 left on it.
Okay, but you weren't making the payments on that?
Yes, still am.
Well, you are? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we'll look at Toyota. There's nothing across there, but there was a payment. Is that for the Toyota, $478 per month?
Correct.
Okay, why is January not paid?
January did a payment deferral through CP Federal. So they allow you to skip a payment.
Okay. And then we got insurance. Is that for all the cars or was that the house? What is that for?
I just split the insurance cost between her car and my car. So that's covering both of our vehicles. It's $160.
Okay. Then in March, it's $953 in maintenance cost. That's for Anita's car?
Yes.
What was that for?
That was to pay back my parents for the tires that we bought for Anita's car.
Why did your parents have to pay for the tires?
We used their credit card because they had 0% financing.
Okay. And then we go down to, it looks like the Subaru.
Yep.
Which car is that?
That's my vehicle.
Okay. And it looks like there was no payments made in January, February. Is that correct?
That's correct. The lease terminated, and then I had to change the financing over to CP Federal. So that's where the loan initiated was in March.
Okay, so now you've actually purchased the vehicle?
Correct.
So you have a $361 per month car payment then?
Yes.
All right. And then maintenance, you have quite a bit of maintenance on this car. What's going on with this month?
It was the recommended, the 75,000 mile tune-up, which was a big chunk.
Which one was that?
The 676.
Okay. What about the 1313?
That was to repay my parents for the tires on my vehicle.
Okay. Same reasoning, the 0% credit card?
Yes.
Okay. And so then, looks like you spent nothing on the kids. Is that correct?
I mean, food, anything else, if they're with me, they get, whatever they need, whatever they want.
Okay. And then totals are the monthly totals, what you spent?
Yes.
Okay. And then we go down here, and these are the numbers you started out with, the checking account, and ended at the checking account each month, correct?
Correct. So
if we look at the end of April, you have $1,750 in the account right now?
When I put all this together, that was all current.
Okay. That's still roughly accurate then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on from that then. Stop share. Mr. Lopez, we're going to talk about some hard things now.
Okay.
Last time we were here, Anita's testified she was the victim of domestic violence, and you were the person responsible for that. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So were you ever arrested for domestic violence?
Yes, I was.
Who was the victim?
Anita.
Where did that happen at?
It was around 2016 in Ohio.
All right. Now, Anita's description was pretty graphic. Was she wrong in her description of it?
No.
Okay. So on the day you were arrested for domestic violence, had you been drinking that day?
I was.
What were you drinking?
Beer, alcohol.
You know how much you drank?
Too much.
Can you tell us what happened? Actually, where were you drinking at?
At a place in town. It was, I can't remember the name of it. Sports bar.
Okay. And so from the bar, you got home somehow?
I got dropped off.
What time of day was that?
I honestly, I couldn't tell you the time.
Was it daylight, nighttime?
It was nighttime.
What happened when you got home?
Anita and I got into an argument. I asked why she didn't answer. I tried to get a hold of her to come pick me up. Just escalated from there. I didn't control myself. She hit me in the groin and I lost all control.
I believe she said something about you got a saw and tried to cut the door. Was that accurate?
I did try to cut the door.
And then eventually the police came?
Yes, sir.
And you were arrested?
Yes.
Okay. And did you went to court eventually?
Yes.
And did you have a trial in this matter?
Yes.
You had a jury trial or?
Not a jury trial, just I believe it was a small trial with the judge. I had a attorney.
Okay.
Not a jury trial, no.
Do you know if you might have, was it maybe a plea? Did you actually present proofs like we are today, or did you just admit to it?
I think it was a plea because it all got reduced.
Okay. What was the ultimate charge?
I believe I got a misdemeanor for disorderly.
Was that only after you got done with probation, took some class? What did you do while you were on probation?
I had to complete a course regarding substance abuse and spoke with a counselor during that time.
How long did that last for?
I feel like it was probably a month.
How long were you on probation for?
I believe the probation for it was years, if I'm not mistaken. there couldn't be any kind of repeat or anything like that.
Okay. And so they probably weren't allowed to drink during that time period?
I don't know. No.
Can you tell me how that experience affected you? What did you learn from it? Did you gain any insight?
I can honestly tell you the biggest thing that came out of it for me was just the fact that I need to keep a level head. I can take a lot of stress and I can take people yelling at me, and I'm just going to try to be as calm as I can be. I can tell you, as far as drinking or anything like that, I still will have a drink with dinner, have fun, but I won't go to that kind of extreme.
What do you mean by kind of extreme?
I am not trying to get out of control.
Okay. So you still drink alcohol then?
Yes.
Can you tell me how often you drink?
If I drink once or twice a week, I'd be surprised.
You say a week, do you mean like the 1 beer, 10 beers? What are you drinking?
Like a beer or a drink, yeah.
So are you not getting drunk then?
No.
Okay. Do you feel like you've been the victim of domestic violence?
I think I have, and never really realized it.
When did you become to realize this?
I honestly feel like more and more throughout this process. Just everything that was normal to me, it's not. So.
All right. So in 2016, approximately, you were living in Ohio. Were you in college then?
2016, no, I was graduated by then.
Okay. Let's talk about your home life. So you and Anita came together when you were teenagers, correct?
Yes.
You were in high school? So you were in high school then?
I'm sorry.
You met in high school?
Yes.
Okay. And you had a child out of wedlock, is that correct?
Yes.
Were you in school or out of school at that point?
We had Trinity after we graduated.
Okay. So what was the original agreement between you and Anita? Was it your job to go out and make the money and her job to stay home and take care of the kids?
That would be the original, yeah.
And you've been married how long now?
15 years.
Did Anita ever work outside the home?
Nothing permanent, nothing full-time.
Okay. What do you say, nothing permanent full-time? What are we talking about?
She would do, weekend jobs here and there, like at the racetrack at MIS. Just small, temporary jobs.
What about the Young Living that she testified to? Was that a job?
It was her income.
Did you have to pay money for that?
We paid into it for a while. As she developed her line, she would start to make a little bit of money, but every single month we were paying into it.
Were you paying in more than she was bringing home?
No, she was bringing home a little at the end.
Was it enough to live on?
No.
Okay. When we look at the home before in the videos, it was pretty messy. Was that correct?
Yes.
Did you ever talk to her about doing better?
Yes.
What was the result?
No change.
How did you feel about the home's condition?
It was always messy. Difficult to have anybody over or anything like that.
Did it embarrass you?
Absolutely.
Was Anita getting the kids to school on time? That was her job, correct?
It was her job. I can tell you, no. The girls have very good girls. My oldest two, the only time they really get in trouble is if they're tardy for school.
Okay. How about the kids' grades? Were they what you wanted?
I am very proud of Trinity in the AP classes. Very proud of Layla. Celia's doing better all the time. Mia, I feel like she can do really well, but she really needs the attention.
Okay. Is education important to you for the children's education? Is that important to you?
Absolutely.
Have you and Anita been able to agree on the children's education goals?
I think that we both want them to do well. I think we both want to see them, do good things more than us.
Do you discuss it with her or not?
It's not a big discussion, no.
Anita stated that you only became involved in the kids' lives in the last 2 years. Is that true?
It's not true.
You tell the court how you've been involved in the children's lives.
I have honestly, I probably worked more than I should have. I know I didn't give them the attention that I could have, but I have always been there to sit and talk with them, play with them. Got different connections with each of them. It just depends on which daughter you're talking about.
Okay.
Trinity and I were really getting along really well up until recently, and now it's down to nothing. We really like music, so that's kind of our bond. Trinity's into sports or cross country or baseball or band. I always made a point, no matter how much I was working, to get out of work and go there and be there for anything that I knew about. Layla and I love food. We like to cook. She really likes comedy. We'll listen to comedy together. Celia and I have a very good relationship, and I really can't say it's any one thing with her. She loves music. She will introduce me to music that she's heard and that she likes, and I love that. I'm a big fan of music.
Okay. So you attended as many extracurricular activities as you could?
Everything that I could.
Okay. Did you miss some functions because of work or college?
Absolutely.
And you're no longer in college, correct?
No longer.
And now you have a work schedule that allows you more flexibility to attend school functions?
Yes.
All right. So you worked at Brembo for how long?
About 4.5 years.
And you had kind of a busy work schedule there, is that correct?
Very busy.
Can you tell the court what your work schedule was?
At the end, I was working Sunday nights, so I would go in. I would target to be there as early as I could, usually around 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I'd work until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Some days, if things were bad, I would just stay pretty much right through day shift. Then I would turn around and I'd work day schedule, if you call it that, Tuesday through Friday. I'd be in there around 7, and I would leave there as late as 10 o'clock some days.
And for that, you were paid quite well, is that correct?
I was paid well. I think if you looked at all the hours I was working, maybe not as well as I thought.
Fair enough. So when Anita says you haven't been there except for the last 2 years, is it fair to say that work did prevent you from being there for everything?
I would agree with that. This production manager position at Brembo was the first time I was ever really close to being on a day shift schedule. So I agree with that.
Before Brembo, where did you work?
I worked at Timken Steel,
Where was that at?
Canton, Ohio.
Okay, so you lived in a different state, correct? The whole family did?
Yes.
I think what you just said, you were working nights back then?
At Timken Steel, I worked a rotating schedule. So it was days 1 week, afternoons the next, and then midnights the week after. And we worked 7-day stretches.
So that, of course, probably affected your parents' time as well.
Yeah.
Did you have flexibility there to take time off work?
No, I was there for my schedule and that was it.
Were you able to attend parent-teacher conferences either in Ohio or Michigan?
No,
Were you able to attend doctor appointments?
no.
Okay. All right, it's time now to go back to the videos. And you said earlier that you felt recently that you are a victim of domestic violence. And so does Anita, in your opinion, have a history of exerting her dominion and control over you?
Yes.
With the size difference between you and her, does that concern you?
Yes.
What is the size difference in your, you can tell us?
She's larger than me. She could push me around however she wanted.
Okay. And is it fair to say that you and Anita have fought quite a bit in front of the children?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that the children are now beginning to mimic some of Anita's actions?
I believe so.
Can you explain to the court what you mean by that?
I think the biggest thing is Trinity. I mean, it's probably the best example. The way Anita yells at me, screams at me, Trinity is doing the same thing. Anita has told me she doesn't respect you and wonder why. Mia, most recently with the backpack, kicked me in the shin and said, give her back her backpack. And I just looked at her and I said, Mia, don't do that. It's more and more.
Okay. Let's talk about the backpack incident. Can you tell the court when that occurred?
It was March
Of what year?
2021.
Okay. And it appears that from watching the video, you had a backpack. Is that correct?
Correct.
Whose backpack was that?
Layla's backpack.
And why did you have it?
I didn't want them to leave. It was late. It was already around 7:00. They needed to do their homework and Anita was trying to take off with them. And to be honest with you, I was afraid that if she got it, she was going to leave again with the girls, which she did.
So did Anita talk to you beforehand? We're going to go out and do something, or she just said we're leaving? How'd that
She
work?
said I'm sorry, what was that?
Did Anita talk to you, but say, Tommy, we're going to go out for a little while, or how did it come about? You knew she was leaving.
She said, come on, girls, let's go get your backpack, or to Trinity. And then Trinity followed her. And honestly, it looked like it was going to be Trinity and Mia. And it looked like Layla and Saley were going to stay. And then as it escalated, then they were all going.
Okay. She didn't tell you where she's going?
She said they were going to go down the road and take a drive to that Wesco down the street.
Was there an argument or anything that precipitated that?
That led to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
What were you arguing about?
We were arguing about me talking with Mia before she arrived at the house. I was talking to Mia about everything going on. I was trying to make sure she understood what was going on as far as any kind of, I guess, spending time with me. Anita told me that she couldn't trust me and that she was never going to leave me with the girls alone again.
Okay. Now, in the video, it appears that Anita tossed you over the bed. Anita, of course, said you jumped over the bed. What happened there?
She tossed me over that bed.
How did that make you feel? Were you scared at all?
I was shaken up over it, and that was probably where I was pushed to my limits right there, and that's why I told her I was going to call the cops.
Okay. It appears in the video that you were leaving the home at the end there. Did you leave the home?
I did not leave the home.
Okay. There's a time where you're out in the yard with the car, and you were telling one of the children to get in the car. What was going on there?
I said, let's go. We'll go to grandma's so you can do your homework.
Okay. And then you end up not leaving, and then Anita left with the kids?
Anita left with the girls, and I stayed home.
Okay. And that was the last night, last day that the kids spent in your home, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk about the video with the scissors in the water. Can you tell the court when that might have occurred? Do you recall the situation where Anita walked in and threw water on you?
It was 2020. I want to say it was towards the end of the year. I couldn't give you an exact date.
Okay. So how did you feel when you saw scissors in Anita's hand?
I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. She dumped the water on me, and I was still in the bed. I was trying to get all the water pooled into one area so I could try to get it soaked up. And then I realized she's standing there with scissors. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even call them scissors. They were better off described as shears. They were the kind of clothing shears that you would use that come in a little sheath. They are very intimidating.
Was she pointing them at you or threatening you with the scissors at all?
She just kind of had them in her hand. And I said, why do you have the scissors? And that was back and forth.
Okay. In the video, she accuses you of having taken her car keys. Did you take her car keys?
No, I did not.
Has Anita ever lost her car keys in the home before?
Yes, she has.
What happened?
She finds them.
Let's talk about the carpet cleaner now. Do you recall when the carpet cleaning video occurred?
It was probably April 2021. I'm sorry, 2020. A year ahead of myself.
Okay. In the video, you think you said you bought the carpet cleaner. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you ever use that carpet cleaner?
Did I use it?
Yes.
Yes.
She complained that that thing was sitting on the floor leaking. Can you tell us how the carpet cleaner worked?
Honestly, put it on a spot, turn it on, and it would clean for about 3 minutes. It would beep, then you could pick it up and move it away. If I was getting ready to leave the house or something, I might put it on a spot, turn it on, and walk away while we left, and then come back and get it when I got back.
Okay. And so Anita was trying to return that. Did she ask you about if she could, or what? How you felt about that?
No.
How did you feel during that incident?
How did I feel?
During that incident?
It's frustrating because there's no input from me. It's her doing what she wants.
And did she hit you in the face with the box?
She shoved the box, yes, at me in my face.
Did it hurt?
I think it caught me off guard more than anything. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't bleeding, anything like that.
And her response was, I didn't hit you, the box did.
Yeah.
She was in control of that box. So yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there were a couple of videos where you wanted to take the girls somewhere. First one we're going to talk about is when you could not get back in the door. Do you recall the video where she kept you outside the door?
Yeah. It was in the summer 2020. I got some cleaner. I was going to go wash the car. Layla said she wanted to go with me. They'll go with me on occasion. They like to spray the water gun at the car. So that was the plan. I got back to the house. She wouldn't let me in. And that's the video.
Okay. Did you eventually take the children to the car wash, or what? How did that resolve?
I got Layla and we went to the car wash.
Okay. Is it normal for Anita to try and keep you from the kids?
Unfortunately, more and more recently, yes.
Now, the second video, it appeared to be around, well, the second video was when you want to take the girls to see a God relative. Do you recall that video?
Yes.
When was that taken?
It was probably December 2020. And I was trying to arrange a time with Anita to take the girls overnight to visit Noah, their godbrother.
Where was Noah at?
Illinois, Joliet area.
And how much advance warning did you give Anita?
I would have to look at the date, but I feel like we were talking probably at least a week in advance.
Okay. And then she objected to you taking the children, correct?
Yes.
So did you ever take the kids to see Noah?
No.
So Anita got her way again, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to show one other video. What's this? Okay. Oops, let's go. Stop this. Let me do a screen share here. Mr. Lopez, we stipulated at the beginning of this trial that these videos would be admitted, and this is a continuation of the videos that we didn't play last time. We don't watch this, and I want you to tell the court what we're seeing.
So Anita got in her car. You see her hit her brakes, and then she continues to drive. She hit my car from the rear door. Damage was from the rear door, driver's side door, and front fender, and the bumper was popped out.
Well, let's start from the beginning. When did this occur?
This was, I think this was in January, beginning of January,
Of what year?
2021.
Okay. And let me stop this share. What was going on before she left the home?
We had an argument because Mia was playing a video game. I asked her if she had any homework. Mia said she had to read. I said, okay. I said, let's read. Let's get it done. And then you can play. And Mia went and talked to Anita. And Mia came back, told me that her mom said she didn't have to read right now.
I object to any hearsay, Your Honor.
No, nothing. Mr. Lopez, only tell the court what you know.
Okay. I know that Anita came out there and told me that I wasn't going to control everything and that Nia could read later and she could play video games right now. And I don't agree with that. I believe that they should get their homework done first. And I believe the game is the reward. Anita continued to argue with me for about 45 minutes. And then she left. And when she left, she hit my car.
Okay. Now, let me close this up. All right, I've got one last video to share with the court. Now, what are we looking at here, Mr. Lopez?
So this is after the car was hit. And you can see where the car was shifted
Now,
from where it was parked.
so when your car is parked right there, was that in its normal spot or was that someplace new?
That's where I park every day.
And how much room did you need to have to get out of the driveway and get around your car?
She had more than a complete lane. We have a 3-car garage, and that's me tucked over by the 3rd car stall.
Okay. And so you'd done nothing different to park your car in her way.
No,
Were the conditions that night? It appeared to be snow and ice in the driveway. Was that a
Yep.
factor or is that normal for your driveway?
that's normal.
Did Anita accept responsibility for that?
No,
Did she give you any excuse for that?
that she couldn't stop.
Was she angry when she left?
Yeah,
All right. So have you considered what life's going to be like after the divorce?
yes,
Okay. So you testify you want the home to be sold. Wait, a second. Where do you plan on living after the home is sold?
temporarily. I would say I would plan on staying probably with my parents just long enough to be able to purchase a home.
So you're working in Lansing right now, correct?
Correct.
That's Ingham County?
Yes.
And you're living in Jackson County?
Yes.
And the kids are going to school where?
Jackson County.
What school do they go to?
You've got Queens for the younger two and then Lumen Christi for the older two.
Are they going, to the best of your knowledge, are they going to continue with those schools after the divorce?
I believe that's the plan.
So where do you plan on finding a home at?
I've looked at homes right in the Queens area, very close to Queens School.
Okay.
Depending on how soon the house can be listed and sold. Houses are going pretty quickly, but there's a couple houses I have my eye on right now.
And so you looked at the housing market, how many bedrooms will you need for your home to be?
I would plan on having a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home minimum.
And you said your mother lives close by now. Would she still be close by after you move?
She would be a 15-minute drive.
So if you had to get up in the morning, your mom would be willing to come over and help you with the kids.
Correct.
If you need help in the afternoon, your mom would be willing to come over and help get the kids home from school.
Correct.
Okay. And you're working now, so you have enough income to provide for the family.
Correct.
Currently, the kids are in private school, correct?
Yes.
Who's paying for that?
Anita's parents.
Have you had any discussions about how long this is going to continue for?
No.
So if her parents stop paying, would the Jackson schools be an option for you, or would you continue keeping them in current schools?
If they stop paying, I mean, I'd really have to look to see, because I really don't see how I could afford it, to be honest with you.
Okay. Now, after your divorce, of course, you're going to have to co-parent with Anita. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, Anita testified she cannot co-parent with you. Are you able to co-parent with Anita? Would you be willing to work with that?
Yes.
Okay. And how would you communicate with her?
I would communicate with her however is best for her. Email, phone, text.
Now, hypothetically speaking, would you be willing to accommodate Anita's schedule if she called you and said, Tommy, I've got a problem right now, I'm going to be late, or I need you to do something? Would that?
Absolutely.
And you would agree that your children have seen both parents acting inappropriately during this divorce. Is that true? You have to,
Yes, I'm sorry. A lot of loud noise over here.
okay. What will you or your kids need after this divorce to be successful?
I think that I agree with Anita. I think we could all afford to go to some counseling. I think the girls are going to need Anita as much as they're going to need me. I think they are going to need all of our attention.
And it's been mentioned that your oldest daughter is struggling with your relationship. Is that correct?
Yes.
What do you think you can do to help that?
I will do anything I can to help that. If she's not willing to talk to me, I'm not really sure what I can do at this moment.
All right. Affection and other emotional ties existing between the children. You've already talked about each child separately in a relationship. Do the kids love their mother, in your opinion?
Of course they do.
Do they love you too, you think?
Yes.
Who do the kids spend more time with?
Anita.
Okay. But would you say that you spent as much time with them as you could and developed a good relationship with them?
I've tried, yes.
Okay. We talk about the capacity and disposition involved to give the child love, affection, and guidance, and to continue education, raising the child in their religion or creed, if any. Are you concerned that Anita is poisoning the child's mind with her anger?
I am.
And you have testified you've seen this in the form of your children yelling at you and kicking you?
Yes.
Have you tried,
Yes.
have you tried to talk to your children about that?
I've tried addressing the attitude Trinity has had. I've tried to tell her, would you treat your teachers like this? I've tried to, relate it in another way with her. Really, I've gotten nowhere with that. With Mia kicking me, I mean, she stopped immediately. I don't think it'll be a problem really at all with the younger three. I just need to find a way to have a relationship with Trinity.
Okay. Have you discussed this with Anita, how her anger is affecting the children?
No.
Have you ever seen Anita try and tell the kids that it's wrong to yell at their father and kick them?
No.
And you already testified that your employer gives you time off to meet your children's needs. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, right now, your children are attending a religious school. Is that correct?
Yes.
And whether you agree with religion or not, would you support your children in continuing with their religious the religious teachings?
Yes. I was at Trinity's confirmation when she got confirmed. I would do anything for them.
Now, we're talking about the disposition to provide the children food, clothing, medical care, and other remedial care. Your girls are teenagers now, correct?
I'm sorry.
Oh, we talk about the capacity, the parties to provide the children with food, clothing, medical care, and other remedial care recognized. Your children are all teenagers now, correct? Or close to it?
I've got 2 teenagers right now. Yes.
Okay. And so the teenagers, they've got special needs now. They've got extracurricular activities, is that correct?
Correct.
They got probably clothing needs, they're growing, their bodies are changing.
Yes.
Are you able to meet all those needs financially?
Yes.
Okay. If the girls need some medical care, are you able to get them to the doctor?
I can. Yes.
You said before, you testified earlier that you hadn't taken the girls to the doctor.
I have not.
And now,
I've taken Trinity. She broke her arm in softball. I took her to the hospital for that. I just like the regular appointments, checkups, getting their teeth cleaned, anything like that. That was always handled by Anita.
okay. Are you willing and able to work with Anita to arrange some things in the future? If she's working or you're working, you can work together to get those things done?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now let's talk about the length of time the children have lived in a stable, satisfactory environment and the desirability to maintain that. So your children have grown up with 2 parents, is that correct?
I didn't catch the last part, Bill.
Your children have grown up with 2 parents in the household, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's only in the last month that they've been without you.
Yes.
Okay. And so the family has moved how many times?
Memphis to Ohio, back to Michigan. We've moved several times.
And how old were the children in the last move?
How old were they?
Yes.
It was 4.5 years ago. So Trinity would have been 11, 9, 7, and Mia was just a baby. Mia was young.
Okay. Is it fair to say now that the children are all involved in school? They have friends locally, either in the neighborhood, at school?
Absolutely.
It's important for you to keep those friendships intact?
Yes.
So if you move, how is it to be able to keep those friendships intact for the children?
If we moved in town, that would probably give them a lot more opportunities to see their friends from school. The sad thing would be the neighborhood that we live in. It's kind of a quiet cul-de-sac. We've got really good neighbors with kids who are good friends with Celia and Layla, especially. And even Mia has a friend next door too. So
Would you allow those friends to spend the night at your house, or you allow the kids to go spend the night at their friend's house during your parenting time? Would you?
absolutely, if that's what the girls wanted to do, absolutely.
Okay. And at this point in time, are you involved in a relationship with another person?
No,
In the future, you may become involved in a relationship with someone else. How would you consider the children's needs in the future?
I can honestly tell you it sounds like a mess, and it sounds like something I really don't even want to think about. If there was ever going to be a relationship, I don't even know, honestly, right now, how I would even approach the girls with it. It sounds like a headache, to be honest with you, and I don't want to add any issues right now.
Okay, so you're not there yet.
No,
Okay. So when we talk about the moral fitness of the parties involved, you admit you've been arrested how many times?
I was arrested that one time.
Okay. And you can provide your children an environment that's free of criminality, drunkenness, and cruelty.
Yes.
And when we talk about Anita's anger, do you think that's a good moral basis for your children to be around?
Not when she's upset like that. No.
Have you seen Anita get upset like that with other people?
No.
Talk about your mental and physical health. You appear to be in good physical health when I look at you here. Do you have any physical ailments?
No. I get my back adjusted every once in a while. That's about it.
Do you have any mental illness? Does Anita's already testified to her health? Strike that. So you understand that divorce doesn't sever the relationship between you and Anita. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So are you willing and able to facilitate and encourage a close and continued parent-child relationship between the children and the other parent?
That's what I want.
Okay. So even though right now you and Anita clearly cannot get along, but you're willing to set your emotions aside and work with her in the best interest of the children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we kind of touched on this, but I still don't quite understand how we're going to do that. I mean, right now, are you willing to text Anita with the schedule?
Yes.
Are you willing to call Anita and make changes to that schedule as necessary?
Yes.
If Anita calls you and says, Tommy, I got a problem, I need your help, would you send her that message for a day or two? Or would you reply quickly?
I would reply.
Okay. And currently, you admit that both your children all of your children have witnessed domestic violence, both committed by you and by Anita.
Yes.
So as we kind of wrap things up here, Mr. Lopez, what is it that we've not talked about that you want the court to know about your relationship with your children?
I mean, I talked to you about Trinity and Layla and Saley. Saley and I think, have a very good relationship. And anytime I see her right now, it's hard seeing how emotional she gets, excited to see me, happy to see me, misses me. Mia and I had a very good relationship, and it kind of got strained. And now this time, not seeing me, now when she sees me, she's missing me, she's giving me hugs. I feel like it's hard on everybody. The biggest thing that I could say right now out of all of this is just, I understand I was not available all the time, and leaving, or I guess being done with Brembo is a blessing, just because getting a chance to talk to these potential employers and then getting a chance to work here, it was nice to be able to tell them right off the bat, I've got daughters and I'm going to be there for them. And if you can't work with my schedule, I can't work here. And I was able to narrow it down to a few people who wanted to work with me enough and make that happen. I am ready and willing to put everything aside between Anita and I, because I want what's best for the girls. I don't care what happened between us. I want what's best for my girls, and I want to see them do better than me. I don't want them working in a heat treat facility. I want to see them being a professional. That's my goal.
And I just noticed that you are at work right now, correct?
And
I see
And
in
I-
the background.
oh, I didn't. Yeah. Yes.
And let's see if I have one more question for you. As far as you missed how many parenting times in the last couple of weeks since we've been last in court? Would you like to have those made up?
Absolutely.
Okay. How would you suggest we make up those parenting times?
I'll do whatever. I could have them anytime. Would
All
be.
Okay.
I could have weekends. I could have them during the week, as long as Anita's okay with my mom watching them while I have to go to work, and then I can come back and be with them the rest of the night. I would be thrilled.
Thank you. Nothing further, Judge.
Okay, so with our return to phase one here at the courthouse, we're working a reduced schedule. So I'm going to need to wrap up by 4 today. I'm assuming you'd rather be able to complete your cross, Mr. Navarre, in one session rather than break it up.
I think that would be preferable, Your Honor.
So I was looking for.
I'd also like to have an opportunity to confer with my client before that, so that would be fine with me,
Okay.
Judge.
I was looking ahead to see, hopefully find a morning when I can get you back in here and we can get something other than an abbreviated time schedule. I'm looking at Monday, May 10th at 8:30, where I can give you the whole morning and probably most of the afternoon. Does that work for everyone?
It does.
I have a 9 o'clock and a 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock in front of Judge McBain and a 10 o'clock in front of Judge McBain. I can be available later that morning, Judge.
You're talking after lunch, though, aren't you, Phil? You got to come back from Plymouth?
Could we start at like 10:30?
I beg your pardon, Judge?
I forget what times you said.
Yeah, I think if we set it for 10:30, that should give us a block of time.
Oh, you're not driving there.
No.
Okay, let's plan on that then. And then I'd like to speak with both counsel. We'll go off the record. Let me stop the live stream. And I'll send your clients on their way for today, okay?
Thank you.
You said Monday,
Thank
May
you.
10th at 10:30.